Hello there guys, it's Stephen here, back with another video, and it's the dreaded, tedious, horrible international break, the thing that none of us like. No football, or no real football at least, no Manchester City. But I thought I would talk about some transfers, and in particular Ederson Moraes as a result, because we all need something to talk about. And if the rumours are true, this man is very close to signing for Manchester City in the summer. Now, it has broken by a Portuguese paper who said that Pep Guardiola rang him and did that famous phone call that he did to Gabriel Jesus to convince him to join Man City in the summer. And apparently, I've seen it myself, he's been liking Manchester City's posts on Instagram. Maybe he's trying to send a message to people saying, I like it, because I'll be there playing with you too, Ilkay and Gabriel. It could be as simple as that he follows loads of football teams and he just thought he'd play with the rumours and so on. But it looks kind of likely, and given the speculation with Claudio Bravo's future and Willy Caballero potentially leaving on a free given his contract's up, I know we all know about Joe Hart, then I think it's likely we are in for a new goalkeeper. So what I thought I'd do is look at everything that I've learned about him so far. I'll be honest, I do not know loads about Edison. It's not like I'm some expert on his future. I'm just going to kind of offer my opinions on it, really, and my insight, I guess, and my opinion as a fan of what I've seen so far, and just discuss him in general. Now, you're all seeing these clips here, and they show a few things. In particular, he's obviously very quick with the old reflexes thing. He seems to have lightning quick reflexes. He actually reminds me a little bit, and don't shoot me for saying this, David De Gea, that whole arms, reactions, the lightning quick kind of instincts to kind of palm the ball, be it by his chest, or even his face, or his neck, or his arms and legs. It's obviously a very instinctive thing, and maybe it's something that we've been missing from Claudio Bravo. I don't know what happened to Bravo, but his confidence dropped, and every shot was going past near a limb, not even close. He wasn't even getting close to them. And it's that instinctive nature that defines some goalkeepers. He doesn't look the tallest from what I've seen. He doesn't look particularly tall, and that worries me. We'll get onto that a little bit later, but he's not a physically commanding goalkeeper from what I've learned so far, from what I can gather at very least. But he does seem to be an instinctive shot stopper. He also seems to be prone to a punch as opposed to a catch. It's very European in style. Not necessarily a style that's always worked particularly well in the Premiership, but it's a style that can be effective in its own way. And he seems to be very much a sweeper keeper. Of course he seems to be a sweeper keeper. Every keeper worth their salt these days is that new thing made famous by Manuel Neuer. And obviously that's what Pep Guardiola wants. He wants a keeper that can read the game. He wants a keeper that knows how to pass the ball. And we'll get onto that in a little bit more detail in a minute. But he wants a keeper who's very proactive as well as reactive. He wants them to be on the front foot all times and have pace, so to speak, in terms of everything they do has to be fast. And we've all seen the clips of Edison having a wonderful game, almost Joe Hart against Barcelona-esque, when Edison had that game against Dortmund early on in the season. And it was his kind of like breakthrough public moment when he made a series of wonderful reaction saves and kind of his reputation shot through the roof. It was a great display and really kind of amplified his rising star, and his average shots per game is something like 2.42 saves per game, compared to the likes of De Gea and Courtois, who are around 1.5, 1.8. Bravo down at 1.4. It looks good, if we're being totally honest. He also seems to be a bit of a tough bastard. There's a few clips in this YouTube highlights reel where he gets kneed right in the face, but he seems to just get on with it, and fair play to him. The thing for me as well, he's obviously only very young, still 23 years old. It's no age for a goalkeeper. He's a baby in footballing terms, and he's young enough therefore to be moulded, which is obviously a hugely important thing for Pep Guardiola. He wants players that can adapt to his ideas and have the learning capabilities, and a younger keeper, a younger player in general, is always better than an older one in terms of learning new traits. And I know what you're thinking as well, can he pass the ball? Well, he seems like he can. He's got a pass completion rate of over 70%. Obviously, that would be high, you presume, if he's playing a Guardiola kind of style. And his average pass length is 31 metres. Now, Bravo's is 26, but not many teams insist on playing that many short passes to defenders, so you'd expect that would bring the average length down a little bit. Then De Gea is about 35, and then Courtois around 45. Mignolet, I think, is 41. So in general, he passes it shorter than most, instinctively, it would seem. And you think that would go lower and lower if he was playing for Guardiola next season. Now, obviously, passing has become a little bit of a debate in recent months, given Pep's insisting on it, and the English media in general being quite scared of it. It isn't going to go anywhere. And obviously, we're signing someone like Edison potentially. It's because he can do that. It's going to be a fundamental part of what Pep Guardiola wants his goalkeepers to do. We have to find that balance between a good goalkeeper and also a good ball player as well. And we can't just have one or the other. So far, Bravo, unfortunately, whatever reason, his confidence was lost when he came to England. He became just one of them. A good passer, but his shot stopping went to pot. Hopefully Edison can blur the lines between the two and become the complete keeper that we actually need. Obviously as well, as the question is, how is he going to adapt to the Premier League? We've been burned a little bit by expensive imports from Portugal, and I think we haven't really got much confidence in signing from that league as a result. And I guess there is some question marks as well, given the fact that he's still relatively new to the top level. He only really became Benfica's first choice keeper in 2016, replacing Julio Cesar, who got an injury. So he's still quite young, given everything. So there are maybe some long-term doubts about his overall ability, given the fact he's only really been doing it at this level for a season, just over a season really, and that's not really long in the grand scheme of things. You could also turn around and say, well, he is only young, which is true. But it also does bear to wonder, can he keep it up over a long period of time? And can he hope then in the Premiership as well? A very brutal league. As I said before, he doesn't look particularly big. He doesn't look particularly commanding, and he is quite eccentric. One of those European style keepers, even though he's Brazilian, but you know what I mean by that. One of those ones that is prone to a punch. He's prone to a save for the cameras and looks very kind of all over the place, flamboyant. But he's effective. But he isn't your traditional English keeper, I would say. And there's nothing wrong with that. But obviously we know that these leagues, this league in particular, the English league, can be quite... It can put foreign keepers under a little bit of pressure. We can try to, at very least. It can lump crosses to keepers that aren't particularly tall. It can lump big men in the air to challenge it. I'm not going to say Edison's going to struggle on that, but there are some question marks how he'll adapt to a different league and a different weight of expectation. And also with the fact that he isn't Joe Hart. Again, that is still going to be hanging over him. It's still going to be hanging over every City keeper now until one of them adapts comfortably to the league. And it's probably telling that the only one who's adapted so far in the post-Hart world has been Caballero, a man who was already there and was kind of accepted anyway. I don't think he'll have the struggles that Claudio Bravo has. I hope he won't have those struggles, but it's possible. It is very possible given the world of expectation. I think he'll probably be a little bit better for being the guy who came after Joe Hart, the guy who came after the guy who came after, if that makes sense. I think that'll definitely help him a little bit. But there's a lot of expectation on some very young shoulders there, potentially, in a new league. And it's going to be very difficult for him if he does come over here to, one, win the fans over, two, adapt to a new playing style, and three, prove himself in the possibly the most physically demanding league in world football. Having said that as well, maybe the shambles of the Claudio Bravo signing might actually do him some favours himself. I think people are willing to give him a go because their expectations have become so low in recent weeks and months, given the fact that we struggled so badly with keepers. So there could be some goodwill there too at the same time. I think obviously we all know Joe Hart is most likely going to go. He obviously said it looks likely that he's not needed, he's not stupid, he can read between the lines. I think that's probably fair as well. Joe, I miss you, I love you, but I think it's the best for all of us if we just move on now. And Claudio Bravo, I suspect maybe he'll go back to Spain in the summer. Maybe we'll see Willy Caballero get an extension on his contract. Where does that leave Angus Gunn? I will be gutted if it puts his future in doubt. I suspect Angus Gunn will go out on loan because Edison is only 23 years older, only a couple of years older than Angus Gunn. I really rate Angus. He's a fantastic young keeper, genuinely brilliant, but he can't be sat around as a first choice keeper anymore. If he's second choice maybe, and he's sat on the bench and getting cup games, I can live with that. But if not, I would like to see him go on loan next season. But yeah, Edison, he could be our number one for years. Obviously, it all just depends how he adapts to the English style. Obviously, it depends as well if that tension that's been built up from Claudio Bravo's debatable transfer so far will rub off on Edison as well. Hopefully, it won't do. Hopefully, we'll see a new number one for years to come. If it happens, it's not confirmed yet, obviously, but it looks incredibly likely. It looks like as well that Benfica have already got their replacement lined up, according to the press today. Obviously, it's not going to be cheap either. A rumour between 19 million to 30 million, depending what you read there, which is a lot of money for someone who isn't the Brazilian number one yet. It's going to be a lot of expectation on very young shoulders in a very tough league, so we'll have to see. But that's it. Anyway, guys, what do you make of the Edison rumours? How much do you know about him? As I said, I am not an expert on him. I've just garnered what I can off online, and he looks like an interesting player. He looks very good in terms of instinctive shot staving, but he does look like he has some raw edges that needs to be smoothed out. Anyway, guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. Give it a big thumbs up if you want to see more of this kind of content, transfer stuff, and I will see you soon.